Welcome to my channel Journey of Spirit. Look up Laughing Buddha, is what I'm guided to say. If you want to understand this whole way of being, platform, etc., look up Laughing Buddha. Because Spirit was or something in the ether. The Spirit was, she's in the hood now. Also, wanted me to guide you, as in why spiritual people would act and dress a certain way. It is playfully, and some know and some don't, it's playfully referring to the spirit you are connecting to or your roots. So these are hints for the people themselves as to why. Yeah, you know you are different. Yes, you are experiencing and playing with the energy a bit. But the tool, we're talking about tools today, the keys. It is a reference to your spirit guide. As in, you would like to know who it is at that moment. So when you are clothed. Yeah, it has a certain significance to your story. Also, then you mimic them as well. You are copying them as you perceive them to be. Also an important key. And that's okay. It's to find a certain comfort in what you are doing. Sacrificing has to do with your devotion. Time, as in the books, would be precious, and therefore you sacrifice your precious time to be of God or for God energy. There was a whole lot going on, and I was like, okay, Spirit wanted to give more examples of misunderstood knowledge or knowledge that truths that are stuck. I said, oh, hop on. Hypocrisy, I posted on another topic on my community board about philosophy. Be the root of freedom of speech. As in they thought it was meant for the elites, but plant the seed of spirit, the true owners, was that it would become freedom of speech. For the people. Yeah, I'm getting a vision about ancient Greek. I know something about Europe invading and stealing Latin knowledge, but that was karma for what the Greeks did. So there is a lot of conflict, a lot of entanglement, etc. But the source, the bigger picture, is that people were copying each other's work, or stealing, or collaborating and making it theirs. That's an old pattern, an ancient pattern. Therefore, you have hints like having synonyms and the opposite of it in another niche, meaning that several words have one meaning, boiled down to, or could boil down to, one thing. So hypocrisy could be the duality of mind within one's own mind. And then you have to step back, sit in the energy, and see what it is for you. Someone has to deal with people pushing it that someone is trying to over-explain a certain thing. I had lovely people, saw some lovely people understanding and seeing, for example, my channel as it truly is. And that's how my channel is supposed to be. So if you don't like the content, or if you, that's okay too. Somebody else might be better able to help you. The example is that there were the people seeing content for what it was, being thankful for one another, trying to help, and that had to do with how can I explain it the best way possible. They are genuine in wanting to help, and it triggered a spiritual influx. Where I had to, they were right, they had correct knowledge, and they were right. But there were some spirits popping in, like, because that person did this and that, talking in personal situations, you have the full right too. And that it was me in, that got amplified because I was in a happy yes, we're in a forward movement kind of state of being. Most important, karma. People who are trying to attack you, is that even possible? As in a chosen one, a true authentic one. It has to do with your belief system, for one. How do you stand in life? Yeah, then I have to take my example. Don't I? Okie dokie. Spiritual development, spiritual journey, laughing Buddha. I can call out that energy. As in, it's a misunderstood energy. And Spirit showed me, and this is has an influence of interpretation. It can be interpreted in several ways. I had a vision about witches, like the old-fashioned broomstick witches, yeah, laughing over misery. Then they showed me being 16 years of age, somewhere in that region. My birth year is 83. I felt a sudden light. I was sitting somewhere, basically crying over other people's misery, as to why did they deserve this? How can I help? How can I... What is this all about? And like that, I had the energy of the laughing Buddha guiding me. Therefore, people in the long run could see me and in a certain time frame, because it was a master teacher for that period, meant for that period of my life. As in there, I already knew layers of illusions casted by. This means that I always, in the matrix, was always placed a mile away from my ops. Therefore, I can, if you are a chosen one, if you really did the work, you were protected. You were placed in those situations for a reason. You had guidance you might have been aware of. Yes or no, that's... So on your spiritual development, you could have pushed it away. Therefore, this was the way how I wanted to tell a bit of my story. And not in the way like, because my mom would have gossiped about me throughout my whole life. I now in return am allowed to talk or gossip about her. No. It is not to say, oh dear you, or none of that. This is how cause and effect, karma, etc. You are in the right time by stuff happens, that knowledge needs to be told. That's the key of the whole story. Yeah, she was basically just a character. I can handle my own. So also as someone is triggered and goes, oh, she is a no. I'm telling this to explain how you are in the right place at the right time. Yeah? I'm just going to use her as an example. That is all. Okie doke. So, from a young age, I would have a certain knowledge about, or a certain opinion about fights, discussion, because it wasn't in excess. I would like to keep the balance clear. But every time I would have had an opinion, I would get this kind of reaction of my mother. And that was her shock, triggered, incapability to deal with energy. And sometimes she would become mad at me. And she would regret that. Leaving certain information in the middle. Another moment she would laugh about it. Basically just, okay. Those kind of reactions. Later on, she would take me to places, to school for instance, or we needed to get something out of town and it was convenient to take me alone. And then she would talk about relatives, how she felt about relatives and or friends. For short, I became a dumping ground. I was good enough to be a dumping ground because she saw wisdom earlier. And then, still with love and forgiveness, forgiving nature, I would give advice. But everything in those magical moments, she would push away, shun, etc. So she was closed off and scared. I didn't want to look like her, so in my own way I tried to develop my gifts. So if she would be looking at me now, and trying to come back into my life now. Spirit was saying, no, you pushed magic, everything magical away. For me, as what you would consider she was a victim, was my protection. I shielded. I saw those things, those in between messages, lines, energies. I shielded myself. Therefore, I was in a hermit mode way before. I developed myself as I went, layer for layer. I didn't know it back then. Actually felt like a victim. Feelings in between are authentic, are genuine, real, as in we need to purge it and respect it. But as she would gossip about family, I saw it was a pattern. Because in turn, she would go and gossip. Yeah? So if I would enter a room, faces. And then you would have one or two breaking the uncomfortable silence, etc. And the happy few that are stubborn as well. It is a family trait, which I do love. Who would stand up? Yeah, but in the cycles it has to. I didn't push my opinion. I was also always quiet and shy when I was in those dynamics. So me not meddling with them took them a couple of years before we could see the actual results. Further down the line, because I don't want to drag up the whole history kind of thing. Further down the line, I had to teenage years. I had to be more like take more of an example of my brother. I already saw some precursors and I was like, really now. So I got pushed even further out of, is how I felt back then. Yeah, because I had the energy, I don't know what to do with you. And when you develop, you have the mirroring and that empathic feeling getting triggered. This will be more in the now. Aquarius age. Yeah, water is fluid, but if you put your finger in where the water is calm, you put your finger in it, you are meddling in the energy, it does something, you get a reaction. So as your gifts develop, the meaning of those stories shift. Yeah, so she puts me away, she made a choice of which child she wanted to nurture in between, you would have gotten. Yeah, but she's a strong one, therefore she doesn't need help. Meanwhile, having girlfriends, this is another a lot of cycles in between, where she was talking to girlfriends about how I mistreated her and how bad I was even. I got them on the street, me going out. Enjoying myself with my friends, and one of her friends came up to me in public trying to preach. And I missed the laughing Buddha energy in that moment, for real. So let's say that I stood my ground and told her that it was inappropriate how she was being out of the behaving in public. And as if I could remember correctly, she got pulled away by her husband as he heard what I was saying. But there are more. She has more friends. Yeah? Those friends are suited for her. And she would try to connect with me, with my friends. Because she would be nice, etc. to my younger friends, and yeah, readers picked up on that as well. So I had a video made where I commented on somebody that would connect it to her energy authentically based on her history. Yeah, is a cab driver. And due to that line of work, she came to find out where I lived. And she would drive the regular cab. Now, somehow I heard my kid saying, "Oh, I have a ma'am talking to me like that she knows you, etc." Charming. Kids going down. Yeah, sticking to the story. So science symbol synchronicities as how universe gives them to you. I could have made a whole topic about it over here For some it is important or had an inkling that the partner of your mom encountered some of your content or is wondering why you are not in contact with your mother. Mothers needing to explain themselves. That is the motivational speech. Affirmation for us all. If people are claiming to know you, where I'm like, if I didn't fully understand or know me, how can you have ever known me? Period. And if you ever going to use my name as in trying to get perks, spirit, that is the general flow of spirit and universe now, basically, of the ancient masters. It is, you don't only get the lust, the joy, the perks. If you want something, you balance it. Yeah? So the affirmation basically is, if people say or claim to know you, try to hook their name onto you. Explain. Be ready to explain as to why that person isn't around anymore. There. I needed a little, So that whole mom story, she chose another child to support, who has entanglements in other niches. Yeah, so she made a conscious decision back in the day to do what she did. I see that there are patterns behind it, so I have understanding. I wanted to help, but I was pushed away. Therefore, we get a whole avalanche, a whole domino effect of things happening, including the child she chose and its entanglements. That is what you chose. Because your mother would have found some, and in this case, hold on, there's an alarm going off. I had to set the alarm a little bit different for the holiday. Well, I couldn't, got a little bit lazy, that was it. So I set the alarm later, as in, then I'm watching telly. Yeah. What was I on about? Yeah, she chose the child she wanted to help, and best free will, that's okay. And in the ether or whatever, trying to accept more or trying to be more open. I don't know, it didn't sit right with me completely. I was like, like the mentalist lied to me. Like, Yeah, Summer Spirit is correct, yeah. You spoke, your mouth was running. Even when you saved up, lovingly stored my diplomas, my papers, my name. She wanted to attach rules to letting me have them, trying to get me back in by catching up. And I'm like, no. If I'm silent and I'm picking up energies behind the scenes, yeah? Karma is fear of being called out. Where people, when they run their mouth, but when a push comes to shove and they have to explain as to why stuff isn't mended still or again, then you fall down the cracks. That crooked, shaky foundation you try to concoct. So, as in the overall story, if this goes through the collector, I had to see what it was, understand family patterns dynamics. As I see it now. Like, there are people in the collective that generally would like to help, support, be there for you. And I feel blessed. But also, my story shows, I hope it does, that people can take that out of the story. That you can, I'm my own mother. If she didn't have done that, I wouldn't be my own mother of my inner child. I wouldn't be my own father, my own masculine side even for my inner child. And I wouldn't feel safe to be my inner child. Because it taught me that no, if I have to uphold myself to everybody else's standards and live through everybody else, their advice, feeling that inkling that they are preaching, they haven't learned, that they are preaching without letting the knowledge sink in. I tried that for a while too. So that is a tip for people dealing with organizations. Yeah? If they said they offered you help, but you got spiraling down, yeah, under their supervision, where they said that you couldn't take care of yourself, but before they got involved, you were doing slightly better, better, yeah. But they are claiming they are helping you, and you have proof like this was my life before. Here is where I am now. Can they explain how, if I'm not functioning and they are supposed to take care of me, how I'm there? Let them explain that. Yes, yes. Like I said, a lot of energies. Because at first there were some other energies amping up. Yeah, she is. Yeah? So for the soul trap, thank you. I had a little discussion, or a little, but we understood each other. Good things are happening. We see and understand one another. And that's the overall. Like, you developing. You were back in time, you were already at a certain level. So if you done certain elements before, it doesn't mean you go boastful and ego, and because like I said, I had to sit down with this energy to stay calm enough reasonable enough, rational, neutral. To not feed in the triggering element of the story. Because I'm aware that it does. And because it triggers you can get and then I need to come up, or people would think I would need to come up more often online, and I'm like, yeah. So that is a cause and effect. Doing something with good intent, if you don't think it through, if you are not in a Buddhist state of being, you can feed in the wrong energy. Why? Okay, so I explained the witch and laughing in serious matter. I sense that that's what I sensed before, if I would speak on this topic and talk about the misunderstood laughing Buddha, that if higher ups are watching, they will behave like, we're in the laughing Buddha energy, because at the Davos meeting, because more spiritual people were standing up, all of a sudden, bald men, scary bald men, would go like, going with churches and he's cold. And well, oh yeah, at the meeting they would invite a spiritual practitioner to, well, in a certain language, go as if they got blessed, but laughing Buddha was like because he's back. Yeah, I can. Yeah, I was wondering, is he back or is he just hopping in like Granddad did yesterday? He will hang around. He was a kind of nomad, and that's how we can't claim energy. Also a lesson and a tool that my granddad is an ancestor. He passed away 2009. To me, it doesn't matter when people die, they died, and it hurt, and I have my grieving moment and be like, okay. Because of all family dynamics and me wanting to find out what it meant for me, what it was being me, developing, etc. You being you, plays far out of reach, out of reach of your higher ups in the matrix. Yeah. There are safe spots. As in development. So my granddad, yeah, family dynamics. Yeah, we needed to sort out what was what, etc. So I wasn't in contact with my granddad. So with him dying, I didn't have a chance to say goodbye. His soul missed me there, and he popped up before. And then we would have me fully understanding, okay, he needs to move on. I can't hold him here out of my grief, out of my regret, etc. I'm giving this, I've been granted this time, this period to talk to him and understand the connection human versus spirit. Because as they die, they have a certain period, as in the belief system, that they take one last orbit basically to visit relatives or places where they think they need to close the chapter on so they can go in peace. I understood and I learned it in that period. But then he would pop up years later when I was moving and said hey, and we would have little talks as well. So spirit is saying, as you grow, you get your spirit guides basically accordingly. So don't grieve too much, because the grief can cocoon you, as where they can't penetrate or contact you as you might have wished. But also that grief is a tool to understand that you need to purge, that you need, and a purge, grief purge, letting go, as in the elements, seasons, yeah. They also died for a reason, not to baby you, to mother you, as a sign that you are ready to develop some more in the regions you thought you needed help from that ancestor, and you used the excuse not to because you had them present. And therefore, sometimes people, that's not the only reason, it's not that you hexed them or something, no. We lose people in our lives to get an understanding that we can do certain things alone. Spirit shows that they are there when you need them the most. And that can be any spirit you need. Yeah? Why do we feel depression? There's a Tibetan rule of thumb, also with moon witches, moon, hood, etc. Yeah? Get triggered, talk, no, domino effect. The hood witches. If you are drawn to a certain planet, it fascinates you somehow. It got you under a hypnotic state, or it fascinates you more than, then it's a topic you should investigate. If you get stuck on the moon, was a phrase Spirit used, it is a tool that maybe your niche, your ancestors, or your part of knowledge where you would be good in would lay in planetary systems, so science or astrology. It was being stuck in the Virgo mindset, over analyzing, and therefore, what is it that I have with the moon? It can be a trigger, an inkling to get you going. Yeah. So Tibetan, as you shed your layers, there is some knowledge that you would, that has to do with healers as well, gurus, etc. As when you shed layers, you go, in the metaphor, around planets, and then you would shed close layers, etc. Therefore, you shouldn't enjoy it, because the enjoyment of certain elements would, it will keep you stuck. So that would be the magnetizing pull. So grieving and or depression elements are also guidance tools. They have a purpose. That is, normally you would go like, I don't like the feeling, go ick, and moving along. Yeah, you have those fools, those clowns running around, mimicking but not really healing. That's the excess. Yeah, that's overdoing it. No, you really need to, but balance it out. Yeah, because with that religion, if you are a healer and you are guru, it has to do with people dying, and then there are certain people who are supposed to help guide their ancestors to a certain deity, because there would be a mirroring effect of the deities. It's a whole other knowledge base. I'm not going to tap in it because I'm almost an hour in. Yeah. But further down the line, in the ripple effect, those elemental shifts, those ripples, cause and effect will still be experienced by others. Therefore, it wasn't correct to withhold knowledge. And claim to be, and that has not, that is for a different niche who mimics or does similar work and claims certain things. Rotten apples everywhere. It's good for the soil. So bad. Okie dokie, laughing Buddha. Yeah? What's the overall message? I hope this helps. Yeah. They love it. They like to stay in more videos. Yeah, Spirit? Wishing you the best. See you in the next. Namaste. Bye.